When I was 17, my family moved 2 states away without telling me. They left a note on the kitchen counter, the cruelest thing I'd ever read. Just 3 words. You'll figure it out. 12 years later, after I'd clawed my way to success without them, they reached out. But back then, I came home to an empty house. No goodbye, no explanation, just that note. I didn't know what I'd done wrong. Maybe they were tired of pretending they loved me, except they'd never even bothered to pretend. At 13, I made my mom a birthday cake from scratch. She called it clumpy. At 15, I tutored my brother through finals while he called me a know-it-all and slammed his door in my face. At 16, I gave my entire paycheck to Dad for bills, only to get yelled at later when I mentioned it. I was always useful. Never loved. My parents and brother, my only family, packed up and moved while I was at school. I found out from the landlord a week later. The lease was canceled. I had 7 days to get out. I slept at a friend's house for 3 nights. Then the storage unit I rented with my last $200. Showered at the YMCA, ate peanut butter with a spoon, applied for jobs on library computers. Eventually, I got hired at a diner, night shifts, cash under the table. The manager let me nap in the break room once when I almost collapsed. I clawed my way up. Prepaid phone. Saved every receipt. Watched finance tutorials on YouTube. By 22, I was freelancing. By 25, I had a consulting business. By 29, actual millionaire. Not Instagram fake, real savings, no debt, health insurance. The first time I saw 7 figures in my bank app, I sobbed. Through it all, silence from my family. Not one call. Then last week, a podcast I did about estrangement went viral. 1 million views in 4 days. That's when the email came. Subject line, "You're still our daughter." No apology, just Mom's clinical paragraph about hearing my side and how maybe we could talk. I closed the laptop 12 years too late. I showed the emails to Melissa during our next session. She reminded me I was in control, that I didn't owe them anything. But she also said closure might help me move forward, whether that meant reconciliation or a final goodbye. Part of me wanted to tell them to go to hell. Another part wanted to understand why they left me. And a tiny, stupid part still wanted them to love me. I decided to meet my brother first. Just him, no parents. We arranged to meet at a neutral coffee shop in Chicago, halfway between where we both lived. The morning of the meeting, I almost canceled 3 times. But at 2 p.m., I walked into that coffee shop and saw him immediately. He looked older, heavier, with a receding hairline, but his eyes were the same. We didn't hug, just sat across from each other with our coffees like awkward strangers. The first 20 minutes were painful small talk about weather and flights. Then he broke. "Emma, I'm so sorry," Michael said, his voice cracking. "I was just a kid when it happened. I didn't know they were planning to leave you behind until it was too late." I studied his face for signs of deception. He seemed sincere, but I'd been fooled before. "Why me?" I asked, the question that had haunted me for 12 years. Why was I the one left behind? He looked down. "They always saw you as the strong one, the one who'd be fine on her own." I almost laughed at the absurdity. Fine? I'd slept in a storage unit. By the end, I wasn't sure what to think. He showed me pictures of his wife and daughter, asked about my business. Surprisingly, he never directly asked for money. When we parted, he hugged me. I let him, but didn't hug back, just stood there with my arms at my sides, feeling nothing. Back at my hotel, I called Melissa. She pointed out that while Michael seemed sorry, he was still framing himself as a victim rather than taking responsibility. She was right. 15 was old enough to reach out sometime in 12 years. That night, my mother called. I hadn't given her my number. Michael must have. And what she said would change everything. I almost didn't answer my mother's call, but curiosity won out. Her voice sounded older, raspier than I remembered. She cried when I said hello, talking about how proud she was, how special I was. I let her ramble before cutting in. Why me? Her answer was different from Michael's. "We were in debt, Emma. Couldn't afford 3 mouths to feed. We thought you'd go to social services, get placed with a better family." I hung up mid-sentence, threw my phone across the room, screamed into a pillow until my throat burned. Their cruelty had limits I'd never imagined. The next email came at dawn. My father's first contact in 12 years. No apology, just a detailed list of their struggles. Medical bills, failed business, impending eviction. The final line, "Could you help the family out?" I forwarded it to Melissa with the subject, and there it is. She called immediately, walking me through the difference between helping and enabling. That night, I made my decision. I emailed Michael, "I'll have a relationship with you and your family with clear boundaries. No money, no contact with our parents until they take full responsibility." His reply came instantly. "I'm disappointed, Emma. Family supports each other." All their installed guilt buttons lit up at once, but this time I didn't cave. I booked a vacation to Bali and an extra therapy session. 3 days later, Michael left a voicemail apologizing, saying he'd respect my boundaries. I wasn't sure if it was genuine. The emails from my dad grew increasingly desperate. 6 more emails arrived while I was packing for Bali. I went anyway. 2 weeks of beaches and rice fields and distance. When I returned, Michael texted asking to talk. I agreed to one phone call. The call started well. He apologized again, mentioned being in therapy now. Then the ask. "Our parents are visiting next weekend. Would you meet them just for coffee?" My chest tightened. I'm not ready. The next morning, my doorman called. "A couple is in the lobby, demanding to see me." I knew instantly. Refuse them. But 10 minutes later, pounding on my door. "Emma, we drove 8 hours, my dad shouted. "You're being childish." I sat shaking against the wall until they left. Called building security, then Melissa. She came over, reminding me this was harassment, not reconciliation. But the worst was yet to come. Because when Michael found out I'd refused them, that's when the real threats began. Michael's next text came through at 3 a.m. "Mom's in the hospital, chest pains. This is your fault." My hands shook as I called Melissa. "This reeks of manipulation," she said firmly. "Get on your plane to Bali." I went through security like a ghost. At the gate, I got another message. "She's in surgery," followed by, "You've punished us enough." I turned off my phone for the entire 18-hour flight. My friend Rachel met me at baggage claim, took one look at my face, and opened a wine bottle in the car. "They don't deserve you," she said, remembering how broken I had been at 17. For the first time in weeks, I slept through the night. Back home, I found flowers outside my apartment. The card, "We're at the Holiday Inn until Wednesday." No apology, just another demand. I threw them in the dumpster, but the next morning, a text with a photo of my mom in the hospital. "Do you want this regret?" Melissa advised a social media blockout. I was mid-call with my assistant when the doorman rang. "A woman with a child claims to be your sister-in-law." Cornered, I told him to send her up. Time to face this head-on. Jenny looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes as she balanced a sleeping toddler. "I only learned the truth 3 years ago," she admitted. "Michael told me you ran away." She showed me Facebook posts, my parents spinning lies for years about searching for their troubled daughter, all dated years after they had abandoned me. Her phone revealed the full narrative they had crafted. Private investigators hired, never existed. Shelters checked, pure fiction, even claims I'd stolen money. All dated years after they abandoned me. "I want my kids to know their aunt," Jenny said quietly as her daughter Lily woke up. No pressure, just an open door. After they left, I sat for hours, staring at the evidence of 12 years of slander. That night, my dad's email arrived. "No more begging, just threats. Retract your podcast lies or we'll sue." My lawyer laughed. "Empty threats, save everything." But the next call was Michael, panicked. Jenny confronted them. Dad grabbed her arm. "There's a bruise." We met at a restaurant with Marcus present. The full story tumbled out. My parents living off Michael, controlling his bank accounts, now escalating to physical intimidation. "They have keys to our house," Jenny whispered, showing the bruise. As we left, Marcus handed them a lawyer's card. "Change your locks tonight." But it was too late. The next morning, Jenny called sobbing. They'd broken in, taken Lily's baby photos, left a note, "Family matters, stay in family." I brought them to my secured apartment. That night, as we ate takeout with Lily coloring nearby, Michael finally broke. "I should have protected you better." For the first time in 12 years, I hugged my brother back. Because tomorrow, we'd be in court. And this time, we had evidence. The judge listened carefully as Marcus presented our evidence. The broken-in house, threatening texts, Jenny's bruise. When my parents spoke, they claimed it was all misunderstandings, that they just wanted to reconnect with family. Then came the question I'd waited 12 years to hear. Did you abandon your minor child? My father mumbled about financial hardship. The judge's expression hardened as he signed the restraining orders. 3 years. No contact, no approaching our homes. Any violation meant immediate arrest. My parents looked stunned, people who had never faced consequences before. As we left the courtroom, my mother whispered my name. I kept walking. But outside, Michael hugged me properly for the first time. "I'm sorry," he choked out, "for everything." For a week, there was silence. Then my phone buzzed with an unknown number. A photo of Lily playing in a friend's backyard. Caption, "This isn't over yet." We raced to my apartment. Marcus filed emergency additions to the restraining order. That night, through my darkened window, I spotted my dad's car circling the block, watching, waiting. The next morning, I did something reckless. Emailed my parents, "Meet me tomorrow. Just us, no lawyers. Then you leave us alone, forever." The coffee shop smelled like burnt beans. They looked smaller than I remembered. "You've lost," I stated coldly. "Not just in court. You've lost me. Michael, your grandchildren." My dad's mask slipped. "You owe us for raising you." I laughed in his face. Gratitude for 17 years of neglect? For abandoning me? I showed them screenshots of every thread. Copies go to your church, neighbors, employers if you contact us again. My mother wept about dying alone. "You should have thought about that," I said, walking out. 6 months later, a letter came through Marcus. No excuses this time. Just acknowledgement of harm and hope for someday. I keep it in my desk, not as forgiveness, but proof they finally recognize my boundaries. Last week, we celebrated Lily's 4th birthday at my apartment. As she twirled in her princess dress, Michael and Jenny laughing nearby, I thought of that note they left me at 17. "You'll figure it out." And I had. Not the way they meant, but I'd built something real from the ruins they had made.
The morning of Lily's birthday, I woke early to blow up balloons. Dozens of them. Purple and gold, her favorite colors. Jenny arrived first, carrying a cake shaped like a castle, while Michael struggled with armfuls of presents. "You went overboard," Jenny whispered, as Lily shrieked with delight at the mountain of gifts. I just smiled. After years of peanut butter dinners in a storage unit, overboard felt like justice. As Lily tore open presents, I watched Michael wipe his eyes. "You okay?" I asked. He nodded. "Just thinking. Our parents never threw us parties like this." The unspoken truth hung between us. They'd never wanted to. During the cake cutting, Lily grabbed my hand. "Auntie Emma, help!" she demanded, pressing a plastic knife into my palm. As we guided the blade together, her sticky fingers clinging to mine, something inside me settled. Later, while others chatted, I slipped into the kitchen. Through the doorway, I watched Michael swing Lily in circles, her laughter bouncing off the walls. Jenny caught my eye and mouthed, "Thank you," with tears in hers. That's when I understood. This wasn't just Lily's party. It was a baptism, a reclaiming of what family could mean. Not obligation, but choice. Not scars, but the healing after. As the last guests left, Lily asleep in Jenny's arms, Michael hesitated at the door. "Sunday dinner at our place?" he asked. No guilt, no demands, just an open invitation. "I'll bring dessert," I said. And for the first time in my life, I knew I was exactly where I belonged.
Thank you for watching and sharing your time with us today. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the subscribe button for Reddit versus Reality. There's always more coming. Until next time, take care of yourself and be kind.